One thing I always try to emphasize when teaching people about meditation is that it is not too hard. Actually, it's quite easy. Maybe that's the problem. It's just too easy. People can get it. Like people are too complicated. When you present them with something that is very easy, they can relate to it. It's kind of, it makes no sense to me. Can it be a little bit more complicated? Otherwise, I don't know how to relate to this. But one simile I give to people a lot is it's like riding a bicycle. Riding a bicycle can be very complicated if you want to make it complicated, or it can be very simple if you want to make it simple. If you want to sit with a paper and write all the details about riding the bicycle, all the laws of physics, gravity, they can analyze your legs, the muscles in your legs, the bones. You can analyze the composition of the metal of the bicycle, the rubber on the tires. It goes on and on and on and on. You can sit there and write all these details if you want to. Or you can get a bike and just ride on it. Just try. You learn how to do it. You fall a couple of times and you learn. Now, even children, they don't know how to read and write, and they can ride a bicycle. But on the other hand, if you get a book like this size, and you read everything about riding a bicycle, as soon as you get the bike, you're going to fall. It doesn't work. That's not the secret to learn how to ride a bicycle. So meditation is not too different. Meditation is something can be learned, but it's not. I don't think it can be taught. But you can learn, but you cannot teach meditation. Usually, talk about meditation like this is just to encourage people to try, to keep people focused, keep people inspired, and interested. But in the end, it's something you have to learn by yourself. And it's something that happens inside of yourself. It's not something that happens in your brain. It's not an idea that you need to acquire in order to be able to meditate. Meditation is not an idea. Meditation is something you do with a part of yourself that most everybody don't even know exists. People nowadays, I think nowadays probably a little bit worse. But people nowadays, they mostly exist in terms of body and in terms of ideas, of thoughts, discursive thought. This kind of thought that they exist in form of a phrase, in form of language. This is what people mostly exist in terms of even a little bit in terms of memories, and then a little bit in terms of emotions, but not too much actually. Mostly people think emotion is something that happens. I cannot do nothing about it. Anger arises and disappears. No, it's not nothing to do with me. It just happens of its own. Nobody ever considered that this is a creation of your own mind. Therefore, it should not. There's no good reason why it shouldn't be something that it is under your control, It's not something that you could cultivate your mind in such a way, whatever way you want, basically. You don't have to be a victim of your own mind, not even these emotions like anger or hatred or desire or shame or fear, whatever it is. So people, even though they experience those things, nobody thinks, this is me, in the sense that I am doing this. This thing just happens. But the body and the thinking, people still more or less think it is under their control, and they have a perception. I control this body. This body is mine. Therefore, this is my body because I control it. It's mine. In thinking as well, they think they can have more control over their thoughts. So they identify, this is me, I am these thoughts. And then meditation doesn't happen in the body, meditation doesn't happen in the thoughts. So it happens in a part of ourselves that we mostly don't, in our daily lives, it doesn't really come up. There's no activity in daily life that actually uses that. So for most everybody, that part of ourselves is just neglected. It's just sitting, idly, not being used, and worse than that is just degenerating. It's getting more and more unhealthy as time goes by, because what's mostly, I don't know how it is in Israel, but most everywhere in the world, like the kind of mind patterns that people encourage is mostly desire, selfishness, hatred, envy, jealousy, or just like if you are in Brazil, it's just like this baseness, like this lowness of behavior, like people in terms of sensuality, in terms of everything. It's just like people think there's a expression in Brazil. People think it's pretty to be ugly. They think this is pretty. They behave in all kinds of ugly manner. Oh, this is pretty. This is good. And then mostly because it's just because this is how people have access to you, and if they want you to do something, it's easy to control you through desire, to hatred, through fear. If they want to sell you something, then if you are afraid of something, then they can sell you a solution to that fear. If you are suffering, they can sell you something to alleviate the suffering, whether it's food, whether it's clothes, whether it is whatever, any machine, these equipments, and so on and so forth. If people are happy, then there's not much we can use you for. There's no way to control. There's no way to make you vote for somebody if you're just happy. It's much easier to make you vote to somebody if you are afraid, or if you are angry, or if you are greedy, desire something. So these people can promise you, if you vote for me, I'm going to give you that. So, okay, I'll vote for you. And also, in terms of commercialism, buying things, capitalism, and so on. So, before, I think, before, just daily life will teach you a few things. Daily life will teach you to be patient for something. If you work with the earth, if you work with agriculture, if you do something with your hands, you need patience, you need attention, you need care. Nowadays, machines do everything. We don't have to pay attention to anything. Machines will do for us. You don't need to be patient anymore. Just press a button, the food comes to you. It's like you don't have to one nourishment for the mind, which is very important, that mostly disappear nowadays, silence. It is important for your mind to make contact with silence and learn how to be at peace with it. But nowadays there is no silence. Everywhere you go, you can always be listening to music, whatever music you want. Even for people from my generation, especially living in a country like Brazil, you really treasure if you buy a record, because it was difficult to find good records. So you find it. I remember in the center of São Paulo, where I come from, there was a little shops. They would sell more rare records, like rock and roll records or music, all kinds of music. So you really treasure. You had that thing. Wow, this is really special. Hard to find. This is not the kind of thing you can listen on the radio. But nowadays, whatever music you want is always there. It's always available. Whatever movie you want to see, that's always there. And you can watch everywhere. And even if you are in the bus, you can just listen to music or watch something on the YouTube. So it doesn't exist anymore, like a situation where you have to sit and be quiet and do nothing. It doesn't exist. People's always distracted. And what they are distracted with are the kind of thing that encourage desires, encourage vanity, encourage hatred, encourage delusion, these misconceptions about life and so on. So this all filters through, the brain filters through the mind, and that's what's nourishing the heart of people. So that heart is not being trained in good qualities, is not being trained in wholesome qualities, It's only being trained in desire, in vanity, in jealousy, and so on. So when you sit meditation, that's what you find. When you sit meditation, what I notice in myself, and I imagine is the same for most everybody, this habit of continuous, like endless thinking, it is a mechanism to block an experience, like it is a way of not feeling something. It's a way to, there is a feeling inside of us that we don't like. And then a way to not feel that is just think about something else, just keep thinking. Imagining things about the future, remember things about the past, worrying about things of the present. Just keep yourself thinking so you don't have to feel anything. So, in vision of that, like if you look back at what is the Buddhist training that converges into meditation, is you train yourself in good qualities of the heart. Usually Westerners, we just come to Buddhism searching for meditation, and then we go and try to sit meditation. But then our minds is that complete mess. Like it's just always, if you one little second that you can stop the thinking process and experience the breath is most everybody cannot even do that much. But the few people who have actually managed to quiet their mind for 1 second, what they experience is mostly some sort of either anxiety or fear or this agitated mind, something burning inside of themselves. They immediately go back to their thinking, the endless thinking. So that's the thing. That's the thing that needs to be. That's the thing that needs to go back to health. That center, that core of yourself, that foundation. So there are many good qualities that of the heart that are compatible with meditation. So the Buddha teaches many different ones, like for example, gratitude, humbleness, compassion, friendship. There are many things like being respectful. There are many, being honest, being kind, being diligent, like not being lazy. There are many things that you do, like you compose your mind in a certain manner, that mind, when you sit meditation, when you put your attention in the breath, there's nothing to run away from. The mind is already healthy. It is a wholesome experience. If you have good behavior, for example, you don't steal, you don't hurt other people, you don't lie to other people, you don't have many bad memories. There's nothing much to regret. You're not ashamed of yourself. You have a wholesome feeling of goodwill. It's easy to like yourself if you are a good person. Nobody thinks about that. People, this guy, I had to like myself. I had to say love to myself. And then, but sometimes it's hard. Like the reason why it's hard is because you're not stupid. I'm not that much of a good person, actually. Always jealous, always bad-mouthing other people, always spreading gossip, always jealous of other people, always, sometimes I speak bad, like I hurt other people with my speech. But if you do it properly, now if you actually behave properly, it's something that happens naturally. You don't have to sit there and try to think about like how I like myself, I deserve love, I deserve good things. It's just natural. If you do it properly, if you do it from the beginning, the middle is natural. So if you behave properly, if you follow, like for example, the Buddha suggests 5 ways of behavior. It's not hurting other living beings, not taking things that don't belong to you, not intoxicating your mind, not using speech to hurt other people, and not having misconduct in sexual activity. You can have sexual activity, but just don't use it to also in ways that will hurt other people. Just 5 simple things now. I can say by my own experience, like when I first started practicing meditation in a group like this, I didn't have much, I don't think I was all that much interested in Buddhist teaching. But fortunately, I was like just curious enough that I said, well, I don't know. I don't really get those 5 precepts. I don't know why Buddha is teaching that. But I'll just do it. No, I'm not doing anything. I might as well just give it a try. I'll practice that for a couple of months, see what happens. So I did that. Like I just went on practicing those 5 precepts. And then I remember, I remember exactly the date. I was in the bathroom shaving. I remember looking at my image in the mirror. Something occurred to me that, you know what? Nobody in this world needs to be afraid of me. I don't steal from anybody. Nobody needs to be afraid. If somebody invites me into their house, they don't need to be afraid they're going to take their belongings. My friends don't need to be afraid they're going to take away their girlfriends. I am not a threat to anybody. And when you realize that, that is something that you just decide. You cannot pretend, you cannot convince yourself of something like this. Now, this kind of feeling have to come from the heart. So this kind of thing just happens naturally if you just behave properly. This feeling of self-esteem is just natural. And then when you sit meditation, that feeling is there. Now, you sit meditation, you put attention in the breath and relax. When you're not afraid to experience it yourself. You're not ashamed of yourself. You're not afraid of yourself. The sensation of being yourself is not unpleasant. For most everybody nowadays, it is unpleasant to be myself. That's why people are so occupied distracting yourself. If you just think about it, you always search for distraction. Distraction from what? What are you distracting from? You're distracting from yourself. When I went to Brazil to open the monastery there, my teacher just like traditional Thai forest tradition, they said, yeah, you just stay here. There was nothing there. It was just like a open field. There was nothing. Luang Por said, yeah, no, you should stay here. I was going back to Thailand, and then they wait until they build something before I come back. Say, Luang Por, no, you stay there, and then you can get acquainted with the lay community. You never argue with Luang Por. Luang Por said, so okay, I'll stay here. And then I stayed there. I lived there in a little tent for months, like 6 or 8 months living there. And then I started to go to the city then to teach every now and then to the town nearby. And then people kept asking me all the time. They always ask me, how can you stay there alone? How can you endure that? And I know I've been a monk for over 15 years already. So what is the problem? Like maybe they are afraid of ghosts or something, or the snakes. Now, like the animals. I said, no, I'm not afraid of ghosts. I'm not afraid of snakes. I'm fine. And then they keep asking me all the time, why is the people worry so much about it? Like they never remember. Oh yeah, a normal person cannot stand being with themselves. It is unbearable. A regular, what we consider nowadays a normal person, the idea of being with yourself, it is unbearable. It is painful. They even use it as a punishment in jails. They want to punish the prisoner. They put him in a cell by himself, with no one else. That is the worst punishment they have. So you think about like how painful it is to be yourself. It is really, really painful. Like people can endure it. And it is sad because it doesn't have to be like that. There is no good reason why it should be like that. And then if you think about it, well, this is the very core of yourself. Like if you look at the very center of yourself, what you find is pain and suffering. And that's not good. No, that's not really good. Because on top of that, you built everything else. And then if you have a building like this, you want to investigate. Well, I think you're going to build another 10 floors. Let's check the foundations to see how it is. You open up, it's like sewage or excrement or all kinds of, or just garbage. You say, oh, this is not a good place to build anything. Not even this 5 floors shouldn't be here in the first place. Not you have to talk about another 10 floors. So in that sense, meditation can be very useful, even though it might be unpleasant to sit, meditation in silence, in be with yourself. But if you understand what are the forces acting behind it, so even this is very important to do. It doesn't matter if it is pleasant or unpleasant. This is a very, very important task to be done. Like, I need to understand what is burning me from the inside, because once I understand that, then there is a chance I can fix that. You cannot fix something you don't even know what it is. And especially in terms of our own hearts, there's nobody can do that for us. It's something we have to do it ourselves. Even like the Buddha did not enlighten anybody. The Buddha himself would say, I don't enlighten anybody, I only point the way. So when in terms of a person's heart, like, not even the Buddha can really do the job. Only you are the only person who have access to it. So there's no one else to do this job except yourselves. So therefore, you need to be capable of making contact with the problem. So, which not like just this much, most everybody can't, like they don't have enough good qualities just to be able to make such a simple task, which is just look at yourself. Even that is unbearable for most everybody, like 90% of people is just unbearable. And then look at yourself and then work with that, try to get better, try to change, it even more difficult. Because if anything else, people also lack consistency. Most everybody cannot sustain anything for a very long period of time. So if suppose it is a job that is to be done, say, for the rest of your life, how many people will actually have that kind of consistency? I'm going to do this to the rest of my life, and this is my job from now on. I'm just going to do this. I'm going to work on myself for the rest of my life. I'm going to always try to be better. Very few people will have that kind of consistency. So that's why, like, usually, Buddhist teachings, usually in the West, people come to Buddhist teaching in search of meditation. But when you go to Asia, if you see how people, they mostly emphasize, they begin not through meditation, they begin through good behavior. They begin, that's the foundation, because good behavior will give you that sense of self-worth, will sense of self-esteem. The sensation of being oneself, it becomes less painful when you have a good behavior. You're not afraid, you're not ashamed of yourself, you're not worried what other people think of yourself. That helps a lot. It's very, and it's also, it is an expression of compassion, it's an expression of good qualities. And then there are many other things you do as well, like, like you were talking the other day, I think today I was talking to somebody about respect, good qualities that in the West people don't recognize as being good qualities anymore, like being humble, being respectful, having respect for other people. Having admiration for other people doesn't exist anymore. Like, you think, I admire this person very much. I recognize this person as being wiser than I am, or being better than I am. That doesn't really exist all that much. But on the other hand, if you look at the Buddha, for example, the Buddha, as soon as he had attained enlightenment, he became the Buddha, the perfectly enlightened Buddha. One of the first thoughts that come to his mind is, who should I pay respect to? You would imagine, like, the Buddha, one of the first things he thinks, okay, I am enlightened. Who should I pay respect to? And then investigates the world. He says, oh no, I am the Buddha. There's nobody I can pay respect. There's nobody above me. I am the pinnacle. Now it's me. But yet, even though, like you say, there is no other living being it would be appropriate for me to pay respect to. Even so, I refuse to live without paying respect. If I cannot pay respect to another person, I will pay respect to the Dhamma, towards which I have attained enlightenment. So the idea of not being reverent, not having reverence, is unacceptable for the Buddha. And he's the Buddha. He's the people everybody has reverence for. So this kind of reverse values is that one of the big problems we have in society nowadays, in Western society. But it's also creeping in Asia. Now, if you look at Thailand nowadays, they're very much westernized in many manners, in many different ways. So it's a good suggestion to don't be too attached to your own cultural values, because they not always have been born out of wisdom. Sometimes they are born out of violence. They are born in a situation of conflict. They are born in a situation where greed, desire, hatred, delusion are prevalent. So it's not always an expression of goodness, not always an expression of wholesomeness. People create culture as it is needed for them, as it is necessary. Culture is a result of situation. So the situation in Brazil is one. So people have a culture, it naturally develops a culture around that. Even things like climate. Now, one thing having lived in Brazil, having lived in Thailand, I can tell there's a lot of similar things just because of the climate. The climate is similar. So people have many attitudes that are similar in Thailand and Brazil because the warm climate, the tropical country. So you can say, just because of climate, there's a lot of people end up creating similar cultures. So beside climate, and you have like a political situation, social situation, conflict with other people, and that creates a culture as well. There's a natural thing; it creates a culture. So, but that culture is not always aiming at this inner peace we're looking for. Their culture sometimes was created around the idea, let's protect ourselves from other people. Let's be a united group. Let's be a united group. Let's create industry. Let's prosper materially. Let's prosper. Let us be powerful. Let us be prosperous, etc., etc. Or like in Brazil, which is a very sensual, focused culture. Let's have pleasure. But that doesn't necessarily lead to happiness. People are so obsessed with sensual pleasure, they end up living in suffering because of that. So sometimes you have to be able to stop. Say, wait a minute, what are we doing? Like, is this really what I want or not? Like, think of your own self every now and then. Question, and don't be afraid to question things. One excellent thing about Buddhism is that questioning is not forbidden. It's actually quite encouraged. I myself, I remember I tried several times to not when I was seriously thinking about becoming a Buddhist monk, I would try. No, I must destroy my faith in Buddha because I don't want to be a Buddhist monk. I want to go back to Brazil and have fun. So I tried. The more I try, I was to find faults or find defects in the Buddhist teaching. More convinced I was that this is the right path. So you don't need to be afraid to investigate the Buddhist teachings. But so you can develop very much. There don't need to be afraid to develop a questioning attitude towards everything, and that because that will not harm your practice of Buddhism. So you can investigate, your own thinking, your own attitude. Just pay attention to yourself. Why am I doing this? Like I always do this. Why? Now, is this really useful or not? Can I? Well, but this is what everybody does. Yeah, but everybody is happy. Everybody is a good example for myself or not? Usually, what you see, I don't know how it is in Israel, but usually you see most people are pretty much foolish. Most people are not happy. Most people are not good examples to follow. So it doesn't matter if this is what everybody does. That's not a good. That's actually quite the opposite. If everybody's doing that, there's probably something wrong with it. So don't be afraid to question. Don't be afraid to investigate yourself. That kind of attitude is not incompatible with your meditation practice, with your Buddhist practice. And try to question yourself. What is it that you really want? Like, what are you doing? Like, what is your purpose? No. If you come into practice meditation, what is your purpose? Because just meditation practice is not any, there's no magical force behind it that will solve your problems. No. It is good for you to understand, like, what am I trying to do? No. Like, so you can, the reason for that is just not so you only, like when you sit meditation, you have a what is, how you call this? Productive attitude towards your practice. No? Not only when you sit, because people do that. Like they say, I want to become very peaceful. So okay, be peaceful. Come on, be peaceful. That's like you're going in the opposite direction. If you want to have a peaceful mind, you need to have a peaceful attitude towards the meditation as well. Yeah? So you have to find mind states that are compatible with meditation and peace. Yeah? So we want to practice meditation on the breath. I want the attention to stay on the breath. So I can't do that by just being very strict. Oh no, I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to let my mindfulness go anywhere. Okay, perhaps you can do that. You can be on the breath like that, but that's not peaceful. So it's kind of like I say, you're covering your head, but your feet gets uncovered. So it's not really warm yet. You just change a problem from one place to another. So people do that a lot. They sit meditation. I want to become a better person. Then they start. Oh, I'm not good enough yet. I'm not a good person. Not managing to keep the breath. Not managing to be concentrated. So they become very resentful for that. That's not very peaceful either. So you need to understand what you're doing. So you do it in a constructive manner. And then that's one reason why you need to understand. Have a good, clear vision of what your goal is, but also because so that you can complement your meditation practice with other things. Pay attention from the time you wake up in the morning. Try to develop good qualities. There are both wholesome in a normal manner, like in the world. They're useful for your daily life, but it's also compatible with that greater objective you have in mind. You can train yourself like the same kinds of good qualities that will make a good person in daily life will also be useful in meditation. If you choose the path of goodness, if you say, well, Ajahn, to make money in my job, I need to tell lies. Then you're choosing a different path. So you need to decide, well, you want to make money, or you want to have a wholesome mind. So sometimes you might have to do some hard choices. But there is plenty of way to make money so that in which you don't have to tell lies and have to hurt other people. There are ways, like if you are diligent, if you are intelligent enough, or whatever. Then you have to decide what is it that I want more. Like I want more to have money, or I want more to have a wholesome mind. Like even knowing that there is no real. If you are intelligent enough, if you are humble, if you have good qualities, you can have a proper livelihood without having to hurt other people as well. There is nothing that forbids you from conciliating both. But yes, it is maybe not too simple. It's not as simple as just going the easy way, but the easy way has a price as well. So yeah, just think I'll just say this much. This is about having understanding that meditation doesn't happen it doesn't exist in a bubble. Meditation is a consequence of your mind. So you have to, even if you actually see what the Buddha taught, the word meditation doesn't exist in the Buddhist scriptures. Buddhism, everybody understands Buddhism. Everything about Buddhism in the West is always centered in meditation. But if you look at the Buddhist script, there is no meditation. There is no word for meditation. It's not the focus. The focus of the Buddha is actually chitta bhavana, is mental development. Meditation is just one aspect of it. So that's where meditation makes sense. Like you understand meditation as an aspect of mental development, of self-development, and self-improvement. And of course, like the ultimate reason why Buddhist people want self-improvement is because to attain enlightenment, you need a very, very, very good quality personality. Let's say, just for the sake of conversation, for the sake of explanation. To be able to attain enlightenment, you need a very energetic, very powerful, very efficient, very wholesome self. Yeah? So the Buddha had this technology, this know-how. How do you make a wholesome, I don't want to say energetic, I want to say something which is have power, have efficiency, something that works, have a self that works. It works like in a smooth manner as well. Not only works, it's smooth. It's not painful. It doesn't waste energy. It's just concise. Like everything works together. Not like I want to do this. There's one desire going this way, another desire going that way. They kind of inside of your own head. There's two different forces pulling in different directions. No?
Like harmony, sorts.
Yeah, harmony, working in harmony. Like the whole being just unites and becomes a friend. There's no enemy inside of yourself. So to attain enlightenment, you need that. You need that kind of wholesome mind, the wholesome self. So Buddhist teachers, they have this know-how. It teaches how to create that. I just mentioned that because most everybody is not really interested in enlightenment. I think just very few people want enlightenment. But this wholesome self, most everybody desire that. So there's no problem. You can just practice Buddhism with that idea. I want to develop a more wholesome way of existence. I want to exist in a more happy and harmonious way. I don't want to be my own enemy. Why so many people hate me? Why can at least I myself? I don't think they need more people to help hate me. At least myself. Let me be a friend to myself. And then let's just think about that. Yeah, just don't just try to practice meditation if it is some sort of magical ritual that will solve your problems. It won't. It needs to exist inside a context, and it doesn't really do anything if you don't have a right attitude towards it. If you don't understand what is being done. No, it's something that it requires more than just sitting and trying to focus on the breath. If you really want to extract benefit from it, you have to see it as a more global practice, something like I said, chitta bhavana, a mental development. It exists inside the context of mental development. Okay? So, say this much. Does anybody has any questions or any comments? No. So I guess that's it then.
Maybe people will take a bit time. Maybe people are shy
or shy people.
Also in English.
You chose the wrong Ajahn to be shy. I always do that. You have any question? Okay, let's go. I even like. It's also something I think. It's also a little bit of Thai culture. I think I kind of assimilated a lot. I lived in Thailand for many years, and I didn't live in this kind of Western monastery for Westerners. I actually went to live with Thai people in the Thai monastery. So I assimilated a lot of their culture. And one aspect of Thai culture was interesting. You go ask a question to the teacher, he gets angry at you, like, because if you're asking a question, it means like, what? I didn't explain clear enough. Why are you asking? Just explain. I'm still asking. So they always like they're very shy to make questions. At first, oh, that's not very good. But then I said, oh yeah, there's an expectation. You should pay attention. You should make an effort to understand by yourself. But so Thai people, they're very shy. They never make questions. Like, even the Ajahn, you have any question, but nobody says anything. So, sometimes to the point of not being very useful. No? Sometimes it's good to make a question every now and then. No? But also, I see also beauty in that. No? So you have to make an effort to understand it. It's not, I think that in Thailand, they still have this attitude. No, it is not my job to teach you. It is your job to learn. Like, I'm here just like a support. Yeah, you have to do the job of learning. Yeah? I am just like giving a little push, something like that. Which is nice as well. It is good. Nowadays people see teachers as employees. No? Like they go to school, the children are the boss, the teacher is the employee. Like, this is not very good. They still have this thing that no, the teacher is somebody to be is not an employee, is a special person, no? Basically in Thailand. So yeah, that's good benefit to many kinds of different attitudes.
I bring a question from
Sure.
Way here. I curious about the gathering of the Sangha in Thailand that have been the last months.
A gathering, yes?
Yes, like in the last months, you came now from
Sure.
Thailand, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
a lot of Ajahns.
Yep. I met like many monks, many Ajahns that I haven't seen for 18 years. Like some of the monks I met there, the last time I met them, I was still a novice. I was just a novice. He was my teacher. Like, he was my teacher as a novice, and then I went to become a monk, and then never met him again. It was very nice to meet them again. One thing you see about when you meet people like that, like they haven't changed, which is good, because they were already good people before. And we meet them again, oh, this is exactly the same good person I met. Like, and then when you meet, it's like you just see each other yesterday, because the person haven't changed at all. Like, it's a very nice person, the same as he was before, the same attitude. So it's like it's not like, no, you meet somebody, when you met him, he was one way, and then 5 years later you met him, he's completely changed. You don't even know that person anymore. No? So you don't know, are we still friends or not? Like, we would be like get along together or not? No? But you met like I met so many people there like that I haven't seen for decades, and and as soon as you see them, back to the same old friendship as before. Like, it's really, really nice, like really warming to see that, to experience this. Oh, this I was thinking about. Wow, these people have like one monk, Ajahn Pasadico, like. It's always like that. Like, it's so excellent. It's a person like excellent from head to toes. Like, and then you meet him now. It's just excellent as before. Like, you think, wow, he didn't change anything. I was like, good. Good. Like, if he's already good, like, why should he change? Like, he's already good. Why do you want to change that? So it was very nice. Like, it's one of the things. Like, I was saying to Venerable Kim to talk to me this afternoon. Like, when I was a layman, that's one of the things I always catch my eye. Like, so I don't know anybody I would like to be like that person. Mm-hmm. Everybody I know it's not like they're evil, they're bad. It's just I'm not impressed. No, I don't see anybody I can aspire to be like. But once I ordained as a monk, there's so many different. I can't even count them anymore. Like, so many people I met. Like, even like somebody Luang Por Liem, he's 80 something. I forgot how old he is. 85, 84. I don't remember anymore. He's so weak. He's so aged. His ear doesn't work. His eyesight doesn't work. He's still. I would exchange to him. Like, I would change place with him anytime, because it's so peaceful and happy. Like, even like I would love to be old like that, if I can have that kind of happiness, that kind of wisdom. No? You can say, wow, I'll exchange my youth for that anytime. Like, so it's very, very inspiring to be around like people like that. You don't find that anywhere. Like in daily life, you don't find that, to the point where people start to lose hope in mankind. When I was a young man, I was like, well, this is, I guess that's it. This is it. It doesn't get any better than this. So this is very sad, actually, to think of that. So it's nice to meet these people. Oh no, you can. Being a person can go a lot further than that. I don't have to be limited by this. That actually can be a lot further. I think especially if you start to meet those very, very developed monks, like Luang Por Liem, they're still alive, or all those who passed away, Ajahn Chah, Ajahn Mahabu. You can read about their stories. When they are alive, they don't tell the story. Once they died, people write the biography, so you can hear all the stories. So even to that level, people can go up to that level. So being born a person can be something can be the best or can be the worst. If you want to make yourself, you can make yourself worse than the devil, worse than the animals. But also if you want to make yourself, you can make yourself better, higher than the angels and the gods. It's really a very, very peculiar kind of birth, being born as a human being. So interesting. Anything else? Yeah.
It was a very beautiful talk, and if I'm too personal in what I'm saying, so please excuse me. But my impression is part of the beauty of your talk is a reflection of the fact that in order that the tradition you belong to, we're talking about, doesn't force one to change completely to make progress.
Yeah.
We can stay who we are and still make progress towards enlightenment. I'm saying this because in my interpretation, it was very pleasant and very gentle for me to see the Brazilian side in the way you handle, in the way you approach things and you talk. It's something very different than others. Do you reflect on your background and what's left in it, and you see different background? You said before about seeing other ajahns after so many years and they haven't changed, and it jumped to my mind. I want to tell you, you haven't changed as well, because I'm sure, but you've changed. But the Brazilian, something in your Brazilian stayed the same in a good way, in a good way. So is this correct? Is something one can say, and you can see it in other cultures, other civilizations? Yes?
Not only in terms of culture, different individuals. Like I believe that in Thailand there was and still are quite a few enlightened beings there. They have attained enlightenment. They're arahants. I believe so. I cannot tell for sure because I don't have the capacity to, but I believe so. And then they have very different personalities. Some of them, like Ajahn Mahabu, was super severe. Always tell the people off, yell at the disciples. Everybody was afraid of him. He would walk in the room, every disciple. And then you have others like Luang Por Piak. Like Luang Por Piak, super gentle, very kind, very soft-spoken. Now, I met Ajahn. I saw you alive, Ajahn Payutto. Ajahn Payutto is still alive, and he's more of a scholar monk, but he's also very, very good in meditation practice. If you are in his presence, you melt. It emanates kindness. It's something I cannot describe. I met him only once. I said, I don't twice, 2 times the same experience, 2 times. It's just like there's something about him, just emanate kindness. You can feel it in the air, It's so a very, very special a feeling. And then others are very severe and they're very, very disciplinary. Others have a lot of sense of humor. I went to visit Luang Por Bondit, which is I like them very much. sit there with him joking and laughing for hours. And then others like Luang Por Liem is very quiet and shy, doesn't speak very softly. No, he's not somebody like it's very different character, but they all have attained the same realization of Dhamma. So you don't have to become a standard person to no, you don't have not you don't we don't all have to become the Dalai Lama, for example. You don't have to be perfect to attain enlightenment. That's one interesting thing. You don't have to be perfect to attain enlightenment. In terms, because perfection is an idea, like is an opinion. So the idea of perfection for a person in the United States will have certain characteristics. The idea of a perfect person in Thailand will have a different characteristics. So it's not about that. You know, it's about something that purifying your mind, like the center, like the most deep aspect of the mind. This external personality is not really important that much. No? So you don't have to try to imitate anybody. Now you can see inside of yourself what are the characteristics that are useful in this path, and what characteristics are not very useful. You can work with that. No? You don't have to imitate anyone else. And then, like, characteristics that for me are useful are not useful for other people, because you have to make a harmonious set. Yeah. I give an example, like being patient. Being patient, usually it is bad. You say, oh, you are impatient, that's usually not good. But if you are a very efficient person, very skilled person, being patient is maybe not so bad for you, because you do things and it works. Huh? So you get them, boom, it's fixed. Not too bad. Now, if you are impatient and you're not very good at doing things, then you try to fix and it makes it worse. Huh? So not always being patient. Sometimes can be good, can be okay, or can be tolerable. No, you're not the worst thing. If you have other qualities that balance in that. So if you are if you are impatient but you are very capable, okay, that works. It's not too bad. If you are impatient, you're not very capable, then you have a problem. So for you, patience might be better, because no, you wait and you do things with calm and ease, and then you fix it. So there are many different ways you can configure your personality that it works. Now, the important thing, it has to work. No? You don't have to follow anybody's example, like you don't have to imitate anybody. But you have to be able to make a personality that works. It is harmonious. You can make like a music. No? A music have different instruments, but they have to make a group.
So that's very, sorry for cutting you off. That's very interesting what you said. Did you feel that you undergo this role, that you really reconstructed your personality in this very observant way, and saying what? I mean, that's your
and it's a lot of fun. Well, at first not. Later it became fun. It became once you learn how to do it.
Excellent job you did, yeah.
Oh, not yet. Easy there. No, not yet. Still a lot to do. But yes, it is tough. It is tough. Sometimes it is tough, because usually is the painful part for me, like my experience, is that some of the things you became so skilled in not looking at it. You became expert in not looking at it. So when you have to look, it is not very good. It's not. But if you have other qualities, like for example, I tell people this all the time, like that's not in the suttas. But for me, like sense of humor was vital. Was saved me so many times. So sense of humor. So if you see something very unpleasant, I always can see from the funny side. It's not too unbearable to see, you know. So this kind of stuff, like this is not in the sutta. There's no in the 10 paramitas. Sense of humor is not mentioned, but for me it worked. For me it worked, and then that is also a blessing of having been ordained in Thailand, because Ajahn Chah, for example, has an excellent sense of humor. You know, so I'm not if you have this very like ritual or book vision of everything. You might, oh no, I cannot tell a joke. This is not. It's forbidden. It's forbidden. No, but if you see the Ajahns, you say, oh yeah, they are very light person. They have very people who are very serious and very a lot into discipline, and then others are more light. So you can say, oh, I don't need to imitate. I can find my own way. I can find my own way of doing this. It's very nice. Yeah, it's good. But you do have to work with yourself. So it is vital. If you are, like I said before, like if you are a normal person, I can almost guarantee that you are a very painful phenomenon. Mm-hmm. It is this is what is considered normal nowadays. It is painful. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna have to be able to fix that. You have to be able to see it, and to be able to see it, you're gonna need some sort of support. So you have to have compassion, or you have to have sense of humor, or you have to have something that holds you together when you open the box. You need, because otherwise it just collapses. The shock can be too hard. If you don't have some foundation, it is tough. One of the good things about being a monk, you are alone in your hut in the forest. You can cry, and you can scream. You have space. If you are in a family, just if you are in a bad humor, already oh my God, what's happening? Why are you in a bad humor? The people demand that you are consistent, that you are okay. So you don't have space to be yourself most of the time. So it's hard to know yourself. You cannot be yourself. People demand that you are happy. They demand that you are in a good humor. So you cannot have time to be angry, be sad. So it's hard to do that job if you don't have seclusion, if you have space. So that's what the Buddha prays so much, like being alone is actually very useful. If you don't have to be alone all the time, but finding time to be alone so you can really work with yourself, look at yourself is very useful. Silence is very useful. Quietness is very useful.
I have a question. What it's like for you to be a Buddhist and a Buddhist monk in a non-Buddhist country?
It's fine. Like I say, I only went back to my home country after 14 years as a monk. So I got a good foundation, I very clear. What am I as a monk? What am I What it means to be a monk? I think I already internalized that, so it doesn't worry me too much. One thing that I find, as in monastic existence, that is very useful. Even monks, a lot of monks neglect, is renunciation. A lot of problems can be solved if you're able to give up, renounce that. So it's not hard if you can. If any conflict that arises, if you're capable of not engaging, if you're capable, if you can be satisfied with any food people offer, whatever food they offer, you're good with that. If you can be satisfied with any clothing, any livelihood situation, like any shelter, if you're not afraid to be alone, there's really not much people can do to harm you. Actually, there's really not much people can do. Like when I went to Brazil, I didn't go I need to spread the Buddha Sasana, I need to teach, I have to convert people to Buddhism. I never think like that. What I think, I have faith in what I'm doing. So I am here and I am a Buddhist monk. That's it. That's my job. My job is to be a Buddhist monk. Now, how people will take benefit from that or not, this is not my job. My job is to be a Buddhist monk. That is already good. I don't need to make it good. It is already good.
It's not for you to teach, it's for them to learn.
Not like that. I think it's just that, like I said, it is already good. Now, this is like having having, for example, when I was in Thailand, like I didn't want to go to Brazil to teach. But two reasons why I went. Like I realized, like in order not to go, seeing the situation there, what was happening in the group and so on, for me not to go, I would have to kill compassion and a sense of duty. So that is part of my monastic life. This is very important. So if I stay in Thailand but I have to give up these two, then I'm destroying myself. So I have to go. It is my job. So in this, it's already included the compassion, this sense of happiness in seeing people learning Buddhism, benefiting from it, is also already included. Now I don't have to make it. It's already there, and it's already part of the package. So I don't have to worry too much. My only concern is I have to be a good Buddhist monk. That's all I have to do. Everything else is already in that mix, you know. So that's why it's easy. I don't have to worry. How do I teach people? Do I have to make this? I have to be a good monk. That's all. Everything else comes naturally. Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you. You're very authentic, and you are what you talk, and it's such a good example, because everybody talks, but it's rare that we are what we talk, and I see it in this.
You know, and this is one of the benefits. I was talking about the 5 precepts. I was saying that's one of the things that I most saw as beneficial. Like, if you have a really good behavior, and you are sure of yourself in that good behavior, you don't need to be afraid when you are in front of other people. You don't
need to speak much.
You don't need to speak much. People will notice. Even like they will notice there's something different about you, even if you don't speak much. And when you speak, you don't have to worry. Like if you're not, your mind is not obsessed with anger, your mind is not obsessed with vanity, not obsessed with desire. You can just talk. Now, even if you say something wrong, people get offended. They will notice you didn't have bad intention. There will be a lot more forgiveness of you.
Yeah.
So it's very relaxing. That's why it is a foundation for meditation. If you do that, your mind becomes relaxed. Like, you have a sense of well-being. It's not too heavy to carry. So when you sit meditation, it's not this kind of painful, irritating thing. So that's one of the big mistakes we see in the West. Like, people think this precepts, this aspect of Buddhism that involves social behavior, this is just cultural. The real thing is the meditation. They say that because they never really succeeded in meditation. They don't know how to practice meditation. They just sit there and nothing really happens. The meditation goes very deep. Meditation goes all the way to the center of the mind, like to the point where people attain enlightenment. Like it's not something shallow. It's not just mindfulness so you can be a better worker in your office. No, it goes way deeper than that. It goes beyond the world. Like, it goes above and beyond the world. Like it's like it's a lokuttara in Pali. So it's not something. And the Buddha was very, very wise in how he teaches. No? So the whole teaching is really concise, and everything connects. No? So there's no aspect of the teaching you can say, no, this is just cultural. It's just because people never done it, so they don't see how that connects. But it's actually really, really important. It's kind of like, for example, Buddha will always emphasize having gratitude towards mother and father, respect and gratitude towards your mother and your father. Now, this kind of thing is difficult to explain to people why this is important. It's something, if you don't understand what's happening inside of your mind, inside of your heart, if you understand some concepts related to karma, people don't get it. They don't see it. But it's actually really, really important. It's a very important foundation. So this kind of stuff is that's why I say sometimes it's just easy if you're just Buddhist. It's just Buddhist, you do it because the Buddha said so. Then as you practice, then you find out, oh, that's why this is important. It's hard to understand everything right from the start. If you're going to understand everything before you do it, then you're never going to do it. So that's where faith comes in. So also another mistake in the West, no, Buddhist, there's no faith in Buddhism. That's not true. There is faith in Buddhism. But it is faith in good qualities, faith in honesty, faith in kindness, faith in yourself. Now this is one of the things, like you have to have faith that I can do it. Because if you don't have that faith, you're not going to be able to make progress. Like it's not faith in that the Buddha will save me. No, you have to be faith in yourself. I am capable, I can do this. This is a very important faith you have to have. So there is faith as well that's necessary. You just have to be used wisely. Okay, enough for today. We can have more meetings other days, I guess. And there's the retreats as well tomorrow. So
Thank you, Ajahn.
chanting for finishing. Aham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivadem Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namami. So tomorrow is the retreat, and then is there any more meetings here? No.
There will be on Monday. Monday evening it will be here, and maybe Tuesday morning just for goodbye.
Anybody has more questions here for Monday morning?
את הספרי צ'אנטינג, האמת שאנחנו אוספים, אז אפשר לשים בשקית, כי אנחנו לוקחים את זה לריטריט. אז נשים מה פה נגיד, ואז ניקח לריטריט.